to 1, which on paper probably isn't the worst point in the world. I'm sure a lot of people would have taken it before the game. I wouldn't, by the way. I think Forest are awful. I think they're probably the worst team in the Premier League. But look, I guess a point's okay away from home given the circumstances. When the lineup came out, it was. Look, I don't really comment on lineups when they come out on Twitter very often because I think people just moan about them for like the sake of it sometimes when it's really not that deep. But everyone on Twitter when that lineup came out was just like, "What the fuck is that lineup?" It made no sense. It was so predictable. I was speaking to people on Twitter before the game, and we were all just saying the same things. There's no creativity in that midfield. It's ball secure. Like I'm sure we'll have the ball. There's no creativity there. Adama and Nunes can't pass a ball to save their lives. They have useful qualities, but they're not. They're not going to hold the ball. And Cunha's going to be stuck on his own again. I feel so sorry for Matthias Cunha. Apparently Cunha was Lopetegui's number one guy, and it's like he has no idea how to use him. It's like I genuinely don't understand what he thought he was buying in Matthias Cunha, and he'll get all the stick for his not scoring goals, and you'll see all the journalists put out, "Oh, we haven't scored a goal in this many times." But it's not Matthias Cunha's fault. And look, we got a point today, thanks to Daniel Podence, but I don't give Julian Lopetegui any praise for that point. That's Daniel Podence's point, and maybe Totti and Diego Costa came on and did well. I don't give any praise for that for Julian Lopetegui. That starting 11, it's woeful. Like it's terrible, and somehow we're still 13th in the league. Don't know how. Let me refresh. Some of the scores might have changed. Wow, Bournemouth actually won. Fucking hell. It's embarrassing, man. Somehow still in 13th, but look, it's a good point given the context, but it feels like Julian Lopetegui's self-sabotaging us sometimes, and it was Daniel Podence who clutched up again. And, I tweeted on Twitter, Wolves would be bottom 3 if it wasn't for Daniel Podence. And I got a lot of stick for this, as you do if you say anything good about Daniel Podence. But look, Wolves have got 7 wins this season and 28 points. If you look at the season, he scored against Leeds, but it was a kind of an irrelevant goal. That Southampton game, a 1-0 win, that's 3 points Podence has got us. The 2-1 against Everton, Podence scored. But even if you don't count that, Villa, a point Daniel Podence got us. West Ham 1-0 win, Podence got us 3 points, and he got us a point today. That's 8 points on his own that Daniel Podence has got us this season. And if you include the Everton one, maybe took a point in there, that's 9. Like, this guy's getting us, like, what, a third or a quarter of our points? And I just find it so weird how people just Daniel Podence has been terrible, but he's not the worst of all of our forwards. And look, in the end, it's a good point. Shout out Totti, considering I don't know what's going on brain injury. I don't know what if he's not injured, and if Lopetegui comes out after this game and says it's tactical, I'm going to be fuming. Because there's no way Rain injury is that bad or being that badly behaved that he can't play that game. And it just messed up the whole balance of the side. Seeing Totti and Nunes try and link up was genuinely hilarious. And by the way, Matthias Nunes, I don't know what, look, I'll hold my hands up. I got Matthias Nunes wrong. And I should probably apologise to Bruno Lage. Bruno Lage kept playing him where Moutinho was, and we were all slagging him off. And honestly, he was right. I understand why he wasn't playing him deep. He's not secure with the ball. And maybe it's just because we're used to watching Moutinho and Lamina and Neves, who are all pretty solid with the ball. But Nunes on the ball is championship level at best. And in a midfield too, he's a liability. And I think it's pretty obvious for anyone to see. If Liverpool offer even 30 million, I'd take it. He's been terrible. And I want it to work out, and I thought it was the right profile. But he's been shocking, and I can understand why managers aren't playing him in the 2. But yeah, that performance is on Lopetegui. We got a point out of that game in spite of Julian Lopetegui, not because of him. And fair play to Totti, by the way. I actually thought when he went back in for where Dawson was, I thought he was actually one of our better players. Also, Jose Sarr, I don't know what the hell he was doing for that goal. Lamina was poor. Moutinho was terrible. Cunha, I'm not going to blame because I don't really see what else he could do. But yeah, it's another game where we learn nothing. We get a point, I guess. It's better than nothing. Keeps us where we are. Stops a bit of a rot. But it just puts more pressure on the Chelsea game now for no reason. I actually think we play better against bigger sides anyway, but it feels like with these starting lineups, Julian Lopetegui is just self-sabotaging us. And I can't really be happy about that point because we didn't deserve it. We were crap. Forest are the worst side in the league. If you look at expected points, they're second bottom. Expected goals against, they're third bottom. And expected goals against, they're bottom. They're awful. They're terrible. They weren't even good today. We just made them look kind of competent. But yeah, I don't think we've learned anything from this game. We've just learned that Daniel Pled's our only goal scorer. Shock, anyone could have told you that. And that Lopetegui can't pick a starting 11. And if he picks this starting 11 against Chelsea, look, I don't think we'll get relegated, but he's making me doubt him, which isn't something I would have said a month ago, but I'm just being honest. I'm not saying you should sack him or anything, but some of the decisions he's making, he's had this squad for 3-4 months now, or 5 months actually. He should know these players better now. This lineup made no sense, and it's concerning that he can't see that. But it is what it is. Point's a point, I guess. So yeah.